There. So I'm outside of my new home here in the south of France, and the sun is just setting. And I thought I'd just answer a question that some of you have posed. And that has to do with why I live in France. Um, I'm an American, and going on 7 years ago, I relocated to the south of France. And many people ask, was it a man? Did you come for love? No. I moved here when I was single with my daughter, who was just 4 years old at the time, and I didn't come for a relationship. I literally followed my soul. I had felt this calling for the French language initially when I was like 12 years old. So I usually answer that it was karma that brought me here. There was something at a soul level that just pulled me first by the hearing the French language when I was a kid to and the first time I visited as a teenager and then through my 20s and 30s, I just felt so much more at home in France, more at home here than I do in America. And it was as if something about the French people or the culture, I just felt like, number one, they get me, or maybe I felt less judgment, or I don't know, but for some reason, I just feel at ease and at peace. And especially, it happens like the moment my plane touches down. So whether I was up north, in Paris, or here in the south of France, when I arrived nearly 7 years ago, it was as if every cell in my body, every part of my being, my mind, my body, my soul, just felt tingly and at home. And, a lot of people wonder, like, you have to be like super crazy or super courageous to move. And yeah, okay, I admit I'm crazy. And yeah, maybe I am courageous. But if you know anything about my story and dealing with depression and not feeling good for so many years, for me, it was more a matter of choosing peace and choosing what to me feels like a soul calling. So what's interesting is that I was depressed in 2005 when I had that spiritual awakening, which I talked about in another video and in my TEDx and in books. But what's interesting is that people would say, you can't leave one place for another and think that you're going to get happy because no matter where you go, there you are, right? You bring yourself with you. And that to some extent is true. However, for me, I wasn't running away from America or my sadness. I just felt more at peace here. And after that spiritual awakening, my depression completely disappeared. And it was not because of just being in France. It was awakening to the truth of my soul and living out what I believe is my true destiny. And I know that may sound really crazy because most people would say, you've got to be nuts to leave a very successful career and the security of a country like America at the time, and especially coming with a kid. My daughter was 4.5 at the time. I didn't know anybody in the south of France, and there I was, 5 suitcases and a 4.5-year-old. But here I am nearly 7 years on, and not only have I built a really thriving community and have my daughter in this beautiful private school and just living a beautiful lifestyle, but I've also built up my business. But this time I've built it consciously and truly in alignment with what I believe I'm on the planet to do. And that's brought me peace and productivity and joy and all of that. And yeah, so that's what I'm inspired and excited to share with you through the various videos and resources and books and workshops. And yes, it's true that I only take on clients a couple of times a year, but I'm opening up some spots if you happen to want to visit with me at a retreat. I'm going to Peru in July. I'm doing events in London again. So whether it's about branding or your own well-being and your soul's calling, or your relationship, then just check out the links that I'm sharing to see if there's an opportunity for us to work together or for you to come to an event with me. So whether it's insight or inspiration or advice, I'm happy to connect with you, and I will continue to write and blog and do videos and share free content. Right now, what's most important to me is going deep into stuff that's really tied to soul work and consciousness. Because I believe that when you are fully aligned with who you really are at a soul level, and then you align your work and your play and your relationships around living your true purpose, embracing all of your gifts and your talents, then that's when you're going to feel the most fulfillment. And if business is part of your life, then marrying your talents with your soul's calling by finding something that the market would pay for and there's a value to, then you can move on to this path that we call the enlightened entrepreneur. And that's for me exciting because it allows me to touch millions of lives, not only with my own work, but with the work that we bring to the world through publishing and branding and media and mentoring. So that's why I'm in France. Once a year, I do invite people to my home to experience an intensive with me. We just did an intensive boot camp in Cannes, not at my home, but at a hotel, a luxury, 5-star kind of deal. And I'm going to let a couple of people come and hang out with me here if that's of interest to you, and you need some, a serious high-dose injection of insight and inspiration. But I'll make an announcement about that when there are spots available. In the meantime, feel free to comment, and you can always send me an email at andreapennington.com and let me know what you need and how I can support you. Okay?